we all work together and we all keep our money together, we are that much more powerful together.
You're starting to sound like the financial cartel himself.
When everybody gets scared and runs away, that's when everybody.
And that's
Biggs and Boggs.
Hey guys, and welcome back to your future hand.
Oh, hey.
Biggs and Boggs. I'm Marty Boggs.
and I'm Julian Biggs.
We got Spencer on sound and screens. Thanks for joining us today, folks. We come at you about once a week, sometimes more, and try to inform you on some things that can benefit your future hand.
That's right.
So without further ado, let's get right into it. What are we up to today, and how can we plan for tomorrow? Julian.
Thanks, Marty. Good to be back. We missed it last weekend. I think we did that little episode in the backyard, or was that last weekend, or did we actually miss last weekend?
No, that was last weekend. That was Saturday.
So today, a couple things to talk about. Luna moved a new direction, new things launching onto Binance. We're going to talk about that a little bit and what to expect there moving forward. And we're going to get into some things in a conversation with a little bit of a market scope here first.
Woo.
All right, so right now, of course, we're looking at we're not looking at the daily today. We're looking at the Bitcoin versus US dollar chart on the weekly time frame. So each one of these candles represents 1 week in time. So we're looking at this here because we are approaching this moving average. We had a little bit of a wick low underneath, and what we're hoping is that we kind of just trade sideways here, catch some support on this moving average, and hopefully see a recovery. Maybe a few months down the road. Like right now, with kind of recession happening, interest rates going up, and money printing tapering, I don't really expect things to be moving too fast anytime soon. And I don't think we saw a bottom last year until mid-July. So, things are dragging out and trading sideways here.
Yeah, volume's low. Not a lot of people are interested. Everyone's trying to figure out a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Last couple of years, they've just been printing free money. So that's why a bunch of stupid things took off, like NFTs and all these other things. It's because there's so much money.
Yeah.
It's literally stupid money.
And if we go back...
We're in the era of stupid money.
To the last time, so if we go back even to just the last time that we crossed underneath that moving average was...
But we blew that, obviously, so we need to correct.
March 2020, right?
So, yeah.
So,
exactly. And there's the stupid money move right there.
And there's the stupid money move. And if you're just getting into crypto now, you're not too late. That was a good run up last year, but you're not too late. This is now the time. So if we're approaching this moving average, this is now the time that we should start thinking about accumulating. But personally, you probably even got some more time, and
we'll be hovering in the 20s probably for a while.
Yeah.
A dip below the 20s isn't unheard of.
But you always want to be holding some Bitcoin just in case
it
goes off to the moon.
So pay attention to the interest rate hikes and all that sort of stuff. That'll, maybe might help you decide on how much to buy, but obviously just stick to the dollar cost average, whatever you can afford. And it doesn't really matter where the price is because we're looking at the long-term game here.
And so we've got, we're approaching now 10 weeks red or 9 weeks red.
Yeah, only a couple hours away.
In a few hours here, we're approaching.
Will be 9 weeks red by the time this video airs.
Right, which is. Did you say that was the first time?
Oh yeah, that's definitely the first time. I don't think it's ever had even 6 or 7 in a row. So 9 is unheard of.
So
but look how many green weeks we had in a row before this, right?
Yeah,
that's how it works.
Yeah. So
when you have extreme heat, you have extreme cold, and you have climate change. When things are a little different. One way they're a little different the other way too.
Next 17,000 if it does drop through that EMA.
It's going to be a while.
Crazy.
A long
But now is the time to pay attention. Now is the time to accumulate. So
exactly.
Don't expect nothing crazy.
No. Living your life. Just dollar cost
circular.
averaging.
It keeps moving. Right?
Yeah.
Live your
but
life.
It's good.
Live
It's good
life.
because the more time like this, the more time you have to accumulate at these prices. So this is when most people, like myself in previous years, would stop paying attention and forget to DCA, and then I'd be kicking myself a year and a half from now when the market when stupid money comes back in, right? So
that's why
you got to make sure you're filling your bags, and remember you're getting it cheaper. That's what you got.
If you're not,
it's an asset. It's an asset. Like, think about it. If you were gonna buy a house and that house dropped in price a bit, you'd be stoked. Like, I'm gonna buy that house. This is an asset. Maybe one day we'll have the equivalent market cap to the real estate. Who knows? They're trying.
It's it's a very strong possibility because of the management.
The money
cost.
needs to go somewhere.
Well,
right?
the management,
There's so much money.
The
It needs to go
cost
somewhere.
of holding Bitcoin in comparison to holding even commercial real estate or whatever, and you have like say if we're going even way beyond our budgets, if you're into real estate and you're actually an investor, you get millions of dollars and you own a hotel or something like that. Okay, this is a revenue generating asset for you, but it has a staff of 200. You know what I mean? You got taxes to pay, you got property taxes, you got maintenance, you got this, and you got that, right?
And if you're an investor, you're doing it just for the money, and you don't care about the business.
Exactly, you don't. Exactly, none of that, right? But it is a big added stress involved in your asset management.
So much,
right? So with Bitcoin, and if it's on average returning 100% a year over the 10-year period or 12-year period that it's been around. I mean, it's a no-brainer that people would start to move their value into something that has such less management cost.
Of course,
with such a good
but
return.
the only reason why they're not so far is because it hasn't proven itself, and it seems risky. But
like you said, that takes 20 years. It takes 30 years. It takes 40 years.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Whatever.
But if you see things happen like they did to Luna, that reinsures me personally of Bitcoin's existence. Because if they we're going to want, if something like that was going to happen to Bitcoin, it would have happened a long time ago. Luna was at $160 at its all-time high.
Yeah, they can't.
Right? And
if they could, they would.
Exactly.
Right?
If it was going to happen, it would have already happened.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's
not going anywhere.
No, and that's what I was going to say. Like many people have been saying lately, like it's not going anywhere.
People
have tried to crush it.
Bitcoin is forever.
Yeah,
that's the thing is that
it's beyond us.
Way beyond us. It's way beyond us, and they can't change it. They can't manipulate it, and they've tried, and it's just there's.
Well, they can manipulate it.
Well, they can. Well, they can manipulate price action. I'm talking about I'm talking about the blockchain, the network, the network itself.
Of course,
the network's never been down. The network's never been hacked. There's no getting in. There's no changing the way it's designed and how the blocks are mined and what's released in its production cycles, right? So,
so this is your time. Lick your chops and DCA.
Yeah, because if people don't understand that too, that's what the thing that pushes the value of Bitcoin up is every time that the Bitcoin blocks are released or the halving cycle happens, which is every 220,000 blocks or whatever, which is approximately 3-4 years. And every time that happens is when we have these giant price surges like we saw last year. So the next one's 2024 March. Yeah. So and that's an approximation. It could be, a few weeks, give or take 6-8 weeks of that time based on the blocks mined. So if we have a big increase in wallet addresses, it could be sooner.
I'm not personally going to put the house on it, but I'm going to be probably putting some heavy long positions in. In December, November.
Yeah, absolutely.
2023.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's when you're going to start scaling into a long position.
Well, the idea is to just be, hopefully accumulate as much of that asset as possible because we are now knowledge. Or we now have the knowledge of the cycles.
Exactly.
Right? So people lose their money, just like the
knowledge that it has strength.
We bought at high prices because the thing is when the things are hyped and the price of Bitcoin is going up, it's going to be everywhere in the media, and you're going to be like, oh man, everybody's buying Bitcoin. I got to go buy some Bitcoin, and then it drops down 60%, like it has. It's dropped 65%.
And recently, what have we heard?
So you
don't buy Bitcoin because it's going down.
Yeah. And you get scared out of the market, and then you don't come back. And if you were like Marty, you stopped paying attention for a few years, and then all of a sudden, whammy, it went back to the moon, right? So this is why you want to be holding and dollar cost
I was one of those guys that bought Bitcoin at $2,500.
Yeah.
And then I sold it at $3,500.
Yeah. Yeah, right? So, lots of things. Oh, I wish I had that diagram. Somebody posted a picture and an image of the price of every iPhone that's come out since the beginning of iPhones in relation to or in the value of Bitcoin. So the first
I'll bring it up right here.
Yeah, we should pull it up. We'll try and find it, put it up
there. There it is, right there.
Here it is. Yeah. But yeah, it'll show what the Bitcoin was. The first phone was worth. I think it was around 2,500 Bitcoin or something like that, right? So the first iPhone would have cost you 2,500 something Bitcoin. And today the new iPhone would cost you 0.02 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So, just another example of what happens over time. So, yeah. Anyway, Luna, we should talk about Luna a bit.
Yes, Luna. What happened to your Luna, Julian?
What happened to my Luna? So, if you...
what happened to your Luna?
What happened to your Luna? Did you have Luna? I had Luna. Anyway, so if you had UST, or if you had Luna, Basically, there was snapshots taken on different dates, and there is a redistribution happening to existing Luna holders. So if you had UST and Anchor Protocol on this day, you'd get X amount returned to you.
What's a snapshot for those who don't know? Basically, it's like a screenshot, right? Of all the wallets, all the addresses, everything, all the holdings at that particular time.
Anybody holding
on
Luna
the blockchain, which is visible to everybody. That's why this sort of stuff can get sorted out.
Yeah. So, like I said, a friend of mine, his reward was 733 when they sorted it out in the wash. He got his money back, and then he got an additional 730 Luna 2.0 tokens, which are worth $5.70 right now. So it was like $4,000 or something like that, right? So he actually ended up with more than he had because they gave him rewards in tokens. So, yeah, just that. So there's now Luna 2.0. I'm still waiting because I don't know. So we're on different. His was UST, but mine was Luna.
Yeah. So you just got your Luna. Like everything was taken care of. Think about all these people that panic sold. So I don't want to point out any project like this, it's a Ponzi scheme. Everyone's got to fucking buy in for it to work out, right? So as soon as people start getting scared and all run away, everybody gets hurt. And it's just like it's so clear.
Yeah.
Like that's just how humanity is in general. When we all work together, this is financial structure, right? When we all work together and we all keep our money together, we are that much more powerful together.
You're starting to sound like the financial cartel themselves.
When everybody gets scared and runs away, that's when everybody gets hurt.
You think they'd be able to manipulate these markets, if that's not what they were doing in the grand scale or the room of 5 billionaires or trillionaires or whatever they are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is just it. This is why we push the dollar cost average message, because if we all go long on Bitcoin, we all get rich. If we all buy Bitcoin and we all hold Bitcoin and we don't tell people to trade it or short it or anything like that, we push that message.
Well, exactly. Eventually it won't be worth shorting. And once it gets to the point where that tipping point where there's no one's going to short it, why would I short Bitcoin? Like that's going to happen eventually.
Because there's going to be no short positions.
Exactly.
To take,
and then boom, like it's.
But the thing is now when we short and things like that, like, you know, it's been a bear market, so anybody buying in here and getting hurt or scared in here and selling, I mean, I feel bad for you. You shouldn't be investing if you're that kind of person. But
do your best
if you bought up here, if you came in at 60K and you were hyped or whatever and you bought in there, like, no big deal. You're not taking losses, you're taking lessons, right? So you know what, I even learned some lessons up here when we were buying, right, too. So just hang in there, keep buying, stay vigilant, don't give up. The market's never going to stop, so you got to just hang in there and keep buying.
Best thing you can do is tell your friend about it too, because the more people that are
because it's a Ponzi scheme, so we got to tell
more people that are in it, the better for you and the better for them once they tell their friends.
People are like, oh, it's fairy farts, Bitcoin's just fairy farts, it's not even real. But it's like, man, the freaking dollar isn't real. What don't you understand about that? It's literally monopoly money. They printed it
and that's the things too, is they constantly print more. So why would you want to hold any of it if they constantly are making more of it?
Yeah, it's destroying the earth.
Like you want to hold Bitcoin because there's only 21 million will ever exist, and
there's like 1 point something million left.
And there's 4 million lost or something or whatever, right? So it's like
13%.
Yeah, so it's
Bitcoin is lost.
I mean, technically speaking, it wins, trumps Bitcoin. Anyways.
Yeah.
Anyway. If you made it this far, like the video, drop a subscribe. We come at you once a week.
Do the things.
And we'll catch you on the next one. Biggs and Boggs out. Peace.
Nice.
Biggs and Boggs.